Ahmed, I wanted to ask you a different question actually. It would be good for you to talk a little bit about We Are Not Numbers, because that is a victory for the human spirit in the face of some of the darkest forces in the world. Like establishing that organisation, the story. Well, I'll let you tell the story.
Setting up We Are Not Numbers was very similar to what's happening now. It was in the year 2014 when Israel launched its aggression in Gaza. And in that war, I lost my brother and many of my friends. And back then I was only 19 years old. I wasn't composed as now. I was very young. I was very depressed from everything that's going around me. But during times of war in Gaza, we would always find solace and calm when we are gathered, me and my friends and my brother and family. We would always meet up, gather around a dish of jelly or cake or whatever, and then we would just try to forget about the horrors that happen outside. But then one day I lost my brother in that war and many of my friends, and this brother Ayman, he was very close to me. He was 3 years or 4 years older than me, but we always would spend our time together. He used to be like a mentor to me. You know, I'm the older brother, I'm the younger. He was always protective of me. We'd always go out, spend our time together. He was very special to me. He was very close to me. And then out of nowhere, Israel bombed him. He was killed, and many of my friends. And I felt very depressed, even way more than ever before. And during that war, the only idea that would consume me is that I don't love this life anymore. I don't want to live anymore. It's useless. It's all in vain. Darkness. I wouldn't say darkness. It's depression, like depression. And then one of my friends, an American journalist, her name is Pam, she reached out to me and she heard about my brother, and she asked me, Ahmed, how are you? How do you feel? I told her I'm fine. She said, no, tell me something real. Told her, I'm depressed. What can I tell you? I'm depressed, and when I'm all alone, I go out to the graveyard. When I'm all alone, I burst out crying. She told me, write something about it. And that idea came to me, of course. So why would I write about it? Why would I write about my brother? The Western media, and she wanted me to write in English for the media, and I said, you Westerners, you don't care about us. You see all of us as terrorists. That my brother doesn't matter. That as my Canadian friend told me that most Canadians think of Gaza as a place full of rubble, and terrorists live under the rubble. That's how they view us. That's the impression I had. So I never believed in the power of storytelling. I never thought that writing for the West is a good idea. But she insisted. Well, she's much older than me, so in Gaza we always respect the older people. So I said, okay, she's older than me. She asked me something. I will not say no to her, not because I believe that this is important or it will help me. Yeah, it's wajib. It's a duty that we have to do. Respect the older people. That's it.
I'm older than you. I'm older than you.
She's not very old, but she's older than me. And I said, okay, I will write this for you. So I wrote something in 1 hour or two. I wrote about my brother, about how I was attached to him and how he was killed and how I feel about it. And then my English was very shaky. It was very, very bad. So she helped me edit the language, the English grammar and the run-on sentences. That's our common mistake in Gaza when we write in English. Run-on sentences, right, Mohammed? So, and then she published the story. So for the first time in my life, I realized that something is different. My story got told in English. People read my story, people from the West. And back then I was in Gaza. I never left Gaza before. So people reached out to me. She told me, Ahmed, we read your story and we're sorry for you. And we are moved by your story. Please keep on writing. So for a 19-year-old person, receiving messages of support and sympathy from people who you had lost hope in, it's a game changer. So for the first time, I felt better. I felt like, yes, if we write our stories, these people can change. We can do a difference. But most importantly, for me, writing about my story, writing about myself, and having it read by others was some sort of stress release for me. Because it's the worst thing ever when you suffer, and you suffer in silence, and no one would hear about you or listen to you, and you are just in limbo. That's very, very terrible feeling. And then, because I felt slightly better, we came up with this idea. Why don't we replicate what happened with me with many other Palestinians? Why don't we train writers from Gaza to write their stories in English through pairing them with international mentors to help them write their stories? And that's how the idea of We Are Not Numbers came up. And the reason why we called it We Are Not Numbers, because the Western media thinks of us as numbers. Mm-hmm. So now we were talking about 30,000 Palestinian people killed. It's just a number. 30,000. It's a sister of 40,000, 100,000. It's just a number. But these people don't know that behind these numbers is stories that deserve to be told. Behind every number, there is a story of a dream, of a family, of a father, of a brother. And these people deserve to be told. Their stories deserve to be told, and they deserve to be immortalized, because through writing and through storytelling, we immortalize our heroes. So that's how we came up with We Are Not Numbers, and I've been leading We Are Not Numbers ever since.
It's inspiring, right?
Yeah. It's amazing.
Amazing. So this is